it's just like, they always have something to say, and nobody has nothing to say really to make sense of anything.
Always something.
Yeah, it just seems like they're always just lying to us. These people.
Absolutely.
Be quiet.
Can you? I just
like I said. We are the grown folks, and we're going to be talking about what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
And then
be quiet. QueenShe is speaking.
Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of QueenShe Speaks. My name is Sherelle. I'm going to be your host, and I'm sitting here on this brand new couch that my brother just bought at his house with my husband, my brother, and my sister-in-law. And today we're just going to talk about different type of paranormal activities that we've encountered in our lives, I guess. So, do you guys just want to go around and introduce yourselves before we start?
That's fine. So, I'm happy to be here. My name's Olivia.
Hi, Olivia. Babe.
Right. Okay. I'm Robert. Sorry.
And my husband's name is Tony, but he is occupied at the moment. So, the reason why we decided to do this discussion today is because we were talking about our experience in Goldfield, Nevada, right?
Yeah, in Goldfield.
Yeah. So it was probably like May. We were probably going to Reno to see my grandma for her birthday. And we stopped by, what's the name of that hotel? Oh. The Goldfield Hotel. And we noticed people were out there working on the hotel. So we stopped in to see, and the lady was gracious enough to give us a tour of the hotel as they were working on it. So me, Robert, I think Zaki, right, and my mom walked down this hallway, and as soon as we started getting closer to this one room, there was two things happened. One thing, everybody heard it. The second thing, only I experienced it. So the first thing that happened was upstairs. You could clearly hear somebody walking around upstairs. So that everybody heard that. Me, when I looked to my left in one of the rooms near the bathroom or whatever, there was a person, like there was something there. Like I could clearly see something there. And then as soon as it was simultaneous. Like I saw the thing and then heard the noise. We left out quickly and went to where everybody else was at. Did you see anything while you were there? Because you weren't with us when you did that.
I was in the front. I didn't actually go down the hallway with everybody else, but we were just up front taking pictures. And I didn't see anything, but I did experience like paranormal feelings while we were walking around taking pictures. And the two people that were working on the hotel, they were telling us stories of the history of that hotel and what has happened to people there in the past. So each time that they've tried to open that hotel, something happens and it never ends up staying open. So they told all of us that they were determined to actually fix it up and open it up. But that was, what year was that? At least 2019.
Yeah, that was like...
It was a couple years ago.
That was over 3 years ago, actually. So
and it still hasn't opened up since that I know of.
No. Me neither. You have anything to add, Robert?
Oh, yeah. I think you already said it. We were in the room, and we were focusing on this one corner, and you could clearly hear people walking upstairs above us. And then we asked the people that were working on the hotel if anybody was upstairs working, and they said no. And then the other thing that I noticed is that they wouldn't tell us what happened to them specifically. They would just say what happened to other people.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. And then that one lady, she did ask, we asked her if anything bad had happened to her, and she didn't deny it, but her whole body like tensed up. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was just like a husband-wife team that I guess they had hired to do the renovations for the thing. So it was only them two working. And
They're so brave.
yeah.
I don't know if it's a good term, but
It
I
wouldn't.
wouldn't be doing that.
Me neither. And then what was another time?
So that's just one of many.
Yeah.
Haven't you experienced stuff in Virginia City too?
In
I have.
in Virginia City?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, what year was that? It was like, so I think when we all went out to Virginia City. I don't know if you were there the time we went on that train. Were you
I was
with
there.
us?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was there.
So whatever. Oh no, that was actually the same year. That was
the same weekend.
That was the same week. Yeah, that was that same. So we had went up to Virginia City to go to the graveyard thing, and I don't know if you guys know about like Virginia City. If not, it's in Nevada. You could Google it. But so we went to the graveyard thing, and I kept hearing like two guys carrying a conversation. It's like, and then I was looking around because there was like that house, that little house thing. I don't know.
Up by the graveyard.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's like that little house. So you look in the house and there's nobody in there. But every time I walked past it, I heard two guys carrying a conversation.
Oh, I don't remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. So that was crazy.
One time years ago, we went to a ghost. What do you even call it? Like what are those called? Where you pay? Are they called ghost hunts or something? A
Ghost tour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghost tour. So we went to a ghost tour, and they take you around the whole city and show you different places where people have seen or experienced different things. And on the ghost tour, like we went into this one restaurant, and like in the bottom in Virginia City, like there used to be a lot of mining and a lot of what do you even like seedy things would happen.
Yeah.
Where they had lots of prostitutes and things like this. And so we went into this restaurant, and there was actually like a living quarters underneath the restaurant that we were going to go to. And when they opened the door for that, it was a Chinese restaurant. When they opened the door to go into like the bottom part, we smelled like perfume. Like as soon as they opened the door, you could smell like someone just sprayed perfume. And they had one of those meters that they can read the energy with.
Mm-hmm.
And it started going like crazy. And so then they started talking to the lady that lived there. She was like, I guess, the richest prostitute in the whole Virginia City that they knew of. And it started, like, the meter was just going crazy. But you could smell that. It was like lavender smell. Which, that was a pretty crazy experience.
Yeah.
And we went back that same day and you couldn't smell it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When we went back, we couldn't
So
smell
she
it
was
at all.
there with you guys at that time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. That time actually on that tour there was quite a few things that happened actually on the tour. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, last year for Valentine's Day, I went to the Haunted Museum, and they have a doll in there named Peggy. And the lady giving the tour said, when you walk in the room, you need to say hi to Peggy. When you walk out the room, you need to say goodbye to Peggy. They had like that same little thing. It was optional. You didn't have to go in the room if you didn't want to. I obviously wanted to. I wanted to, experience the whole thing. So me and the person I was with, we walked in the room. We said hi to Peggy, and then another group of girls came in, and one of the girls from that other group didn't say anything, and the little meter thing started going crazy. So the lady was saying whatever it is, the tour guide was saying whatever it is she had to say about the doll and, what happened to people who've owned the doll and things like that. And then when we walked out, I promise you, I put it on everything I love. I saw that doll standing next to that little girl and like attaching itself to that girl. Like, so I hope that girl made it home safe that night, because I that was, to me, that was like really crazy.
What do you mean you saw like?
So like we were all standing, because it was like a tour, you know. So we were standing in the thing, and the lady was telling us about like the next room that we're gonna go in and what we're gonna see and things like that. So the girl was standing like as far away as I am to you, which was that, like maybe 1.5 feet, something like that. She was standing that far away from me, and we were listening to the lady, and standing right next to her, like where Nico is to you right now, the doll was there. I saw the doll as clear as day, standing right there next to the girl. And then
But like in the room before that, the doll was in the case?
The doll was in a case, yeah.
So you saw the doll like outside the
I
case?
saw the doll outside of the case, standing next to that girl with like, I used the wrong terminology. This is not my field, so I probably will. But it was like, how do you say that word? Like
kind of the shadow of the doll? Or like
No, it was the doll. Like the dress, everything was very vivid. The aura, yeah. So the aura, like the doll's aura was going into that girl and covering her. Because I don't know if you guys are like, you know, how everything has its own light. It was a white, like, glowing thing around the girl and a white, like, aura around the doll. And they were, like, attaching to each other. I saw it.
Oh my gosh, you never told me that before.
Yeah, no, that wasn't even the scariest part of that tour.
In that museum, did you go to every room, or was there a place in there that you didn't go to?
So the only place that is off limits is the basement, because the tour guide was telling us that they go down to the basement and have seances to keep everything alive. So I'm sure you could pay extra to go down there, but part of our tour, that was the only thing that was off limits, was the basement. But a lot of things were optional. So like that room was optional. You didn't have to go in if you didn't want to. And then there was another room. So I guess somewhere in like New York or somewhere, there was a boy who was like possessed or whatever by like a demon. And they had what is it called? A seance? Not a seance, exorcist. Yeah. And I guess he sat in a chair during the exorcist or something like that. I'm probably not giving the story justice. But he sat in the chair, I guess, during the exorcism. And they have that chair in the museum. So that room is optional, but I went in it. So when you go in it, the lady your tour guide clicks a button that's supposed to open the door. And then when the door is opening, they have audio from the seance, but so it's like triggered, you know, once the door opens, the audio is supposed to start. So the door was opening and then it shut, and then the noise was still going or whatever. And then it opened again. Like she tried to get the door to open back up and it just wouldn't open. And then, yeah, it was, but the noise just like kept going.
Oh my gosh.
And then it started working right. So they had that. And then, that actress, Natalie Hathaway, I think her name is, they had a room dedicated to her too, with some of her stuff that they feel was haunted, and that was optional. And then that documentary that we watched, the one about the house in Michigan, I think.
Oh, yeah.
They had the staircase from that house in there with the sand and everything. So, and that was optional.
After you told me about that place, it's way too scary. I would not go there. Yeah, that's too much for
No,
me.
yeah, listen. I didn't even know how my friend we were supposed to go to the mall museum that night.
And you went there.
And we went there instead, yeah.
The mall museum's fun, though.
The mall museum is fun.
Which that brings about all different kinds of hauntings, too, the mall museum.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite part of that museum is the fact that that it's actually the post office from the first post office here in Las Vegas, and the fact that they actually did the hearings in the building, and they still have the courthouse and the shootings, and it's all still there.
Yeah,
like that just amazes me, since we don't save any of our history here.
That's
what other experience have you had?
That was
That's it?
that I remember, yeah. Well, I've heard stories from relatives, like my great grandpa's house. I guess his wife died really early, and my uncles would always say that they would always wake up when they were younger and see her wearing a white dress sitting at the foot of her bed.
Oh yeah, at the foot of their bed. I heard that before too.
So that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
Stuff like that. It's always stuff that other people have told me.
Is there a place that you go, like in town here or places you've traveled, that you feel like you felt something?
I mean, yeah, that's happened. The sink just made a noise right now. As you just said that. It scared me.
So we're all sitting in the same room, and from the kitchen comes a noise. So that's great.
Yeah, right as soon as you asked that question,
Yeah.
something paranormal has ever happened to any of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to, in one house that we lived in a long time ago, there would always be something weird around the laundry in that house. Like, no one would be, oh my gosh, you just scared me half to death. The table started moving, and Tony, you scared me half to death. So in that house, though, the laundry area, like, often I would walk up the stairs and the basket would like be on the floor, or the lid from the laundry soap would just be on the floor, but nothing would have touched it, and the laundry wouldn't have been running or anything. But I always would just pick it up and just be like, oh, that's odd, and then like move on.
Yeah. I feel like the place I live in now has something there, and I think I know who it is. I think it's I had a coworker who passed away, and so we went to her funeral, which was at this church right here, and then we came back to my house, did a toast for her, and then I put her thing on that thing where my dad's ashes are at in my house. And ever since I put her obituary there, and ever since I put it there, like, when my Xbox was downstairs, my Xbox would randomly turn on. It still does that, actually. Even though we moved the Xbox up to my bedroom, it still randomly just turns on. My, what's it called? I have a toaster oven. My toaster oven, it's not plugged in, so I didn't keep the timer on, but it still makes a noise like it's timing, like the timer noise. So
Even when it's not plugged
even
in?
even when it's not plugged in, it still makes that noise. Yep. And then, like, when it gets really crazy, like, I'd be like, Tracy, I don't want to, not trying to mess around right now, or whatever the case may be. And then it dies down a little bit. So I really think it's my coworker Tracy just kind of checking on me, making sure I'm good. Because it was her, I was here when I found out that something had happened to her. Mm-hmm. And it was sudden and very unexpected, so. But, yeah. So, I really feel like, she's just checking up on me. Things like that. And then in Grandma's house, when I go in Grandpa's room, I always feel weird.
Oh,
too.
even Zaki did something at her house before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was born after he died, so Zaki never got to meet him. And then one time we were there, he was little. He kept looking in that downstairs living room, and he kept looking at the chair, and he said, "Oh, that's." How did he say it? He said, "That's Grandpa, right?"
Grandfather, he called.
Yeah, that's Grandfather, right? And like he never met him.
Yeah.
But
I think, and this is just me thinking, I don't know if you believe in reincarnation or whatever, but I really feel there's a lot of Zaki's mannerisms, like the way he acts and like the things he says, that reminds me a lot of my grandpa. I really feel like he reincarnated as Zaki, because Zaki acts like him sometimes. And then, like, when he was doing the hey thing, like, my grandpa used to do that all the time. So, I know Robert does it, but he does it, and when he does it, he sounds just like grandpa.
It gets really loud like him, too.
Yeah.
It's like, it gets so loud. What were you laughing at?
Because he used to scream, like, for us when he would be in his room watching his TV. When we were up with grandma, he'd always...
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was funny. Do you have anything to add, Tony? No? Well, you just said your grandma's house was haunted. Or you feel like it was haunted.
It was something.
Because she used to slam doors.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That is
We
crazy.
used to live in a house that was like a block away from a pet cemetery and a regular cemetery. And the one time I came home and I heard a dog growling in my living room. It's kind of crazy.
Who used to live there? We used to live there, or you two used to? Oh.
The one that you...
I don't know the street. The one in the northwest.
Oh.
You used to watch Zaki at that house.
Oh, okay.
That place.
I didn't know it was by a pet cemetery and a regular
It was a
cemetery.
straight go. So like the house was there and then there's that little road with the trees.
Mm.
And right outside of the neighborhood there was a pet cemetery right there.
You had to drive by that pet cemetery.
I didn't
Your
know
mom
it was
lived over there.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it was a pet cemetery. I just thought it was a regular cemetery. The one by the bank, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right behind you. Right next to Chase. And then the regular cemetery is like up the next block.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that, honestly.
And I would always get weird feelings when I was upstairs. And then one time I remember very well, I was in the closet, and that closet in that place was a walk-in closet, and usually it was always freezing cold in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one day I walked in there to get my clothes for the next day, and it was really hot, like really hot in there. And then as I was looking for stuff, I heard Zaki like screaming, like all panicked, and then I rushed into the room and he was pointing at the door, like babbling, because he was young.
Yeah.
He was pointing at the door, babbling, and I looked and there was nothing there. It was really weird.
Hmm.
Weird feeling. But he sees things sometimes.
Have you ever had, like, sleep paralysis?
Yeah, in that same house. That happened to me in that same house.
In
Yeah.
that house, that's where that happened?
Yep. That sucked. I saw a woman with white, like everything on her was white. Her face, her hair, everything white. And she was looking at me and she was like trying to say something, but it was all like a weird, like a, I don't know, like a sound. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, and then when I tried to get up, and I couldn't get up.
Oh my gosh. Where's the sage
I
at?
didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was not good. I don't recommend that for anybody.
Yeah. Have you ever had?
No, but one time, I haven't had sleep paralysis, but one time in my sleep, and that was actually at this house, I felt like in my sleep I felt like I stopped breathing, and it scared me so much I woke up and I like jumped out of bed because
Yeah.
like everything
Like
hurt.
something
Like
was
I,
on
like,
you.
but I don't know if that was something like on me making me feel that way, or if I just in my sleep stopped
That's what
breathing.
they say.
Yeah.
It does. It jumps on your chest so you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Paralyzes you.
I've never experienced it. I don't think I would want to experience it. I'm all down for, like, stuff like that, but I
I
don't.
don't recommend it.
I don't
But they
think
say
that's-
it's just because of stress. It's like a stress thing. I don't know. Who knows? But
They say that happens because of stress.
that's what I just said. But I'm sure there's other reasons. Who knows?
It's a lot. I feel like we had a haunted experience too. You remember that in Beatty, it's in Beatty, right? That you drive down that road like about 5 miles, and you go behind the mountain, and then you go to that little town. I don't remember what it's called, but there's that little town behind Beatty.
Mm.
That's where we saw the glass house. The house that's made out of the glass bottles.
Oh, that's something starts with an in. I know what you're talking about.
But it's like 5 miles outside of Beatty or something. It's
Yeah.
not that far. Like you go in the hills.
Or Rye. I think it's Rye, Nevada. I think that's what that's called.
And I feel like something happened to us there, but I can't remember.
I don't know. I do like all of that whole stretch of like that. I don't. Did you guys go with us to Scotty's Castle in Death Valley?
No.
So I feel like all that stuff is kind of haunted out there because like the miners and the gold diggers.
Yeah, they would be doing. Really
They would
bad
be
things.
yeah. So even like so I it probably was. And I think the most creepiest part of that place that you're talking about is those little statues.
Oh, that they have the white ones.
Yeah. Like it's really random and like why would it be there, you know?
Yeah, the art that they chose to put out there is really random.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. And those white ones, they're like they kind of look like ghosts, but there's like no body on the inside. Like it's just like
Yeah.
the white sheet, kind of hanging there, and they represent bodies. So yeah, they do kind of look creepy.
So maybe that place has a history that we just don't know about.
I'm sure it does. I mean, it's interesting because when you walk up that street, they have like you can see the foundation of the buildings, and they have like the bank, and they have what looks like a hotel.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, and so I mean they had like a little city there, but then it's not very big, so there wasn't very many houses.
Yeah.
I always wonder about how back in the early 1900s how those places were, like when people were actually living there and
They
functioning.
were thriving.
Yeah.
Gold and silver mine.
Yeah. And I know like that there's that picture you can look up online of Goldfield with all the people that live there.
Yeah.
City in the state.
Yeah. That's
Back in the day.
that blows my mind. It used to be the biggest city in the state. Because now it's nothing. When you
Yeah.
drive through it, just a bunch of like trailers and really beat up houses and all like old and run down.
That whole place is that where that what is it called? The car cemetery is?
Oh no, where is it? I never went to that, but I saw the pictures you guys took.
Cause
That's in that's in Goldfield.
that's in
No,
Goldfield.
no, it's not. It's the next one. What's the next one?
Tonopah?
Then it's Goldfield. Then it is Goldfield.
It's
Yeah,
yes.
the one with the haunted. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. When we went there, I didn't see anything or anything like that, but it's eerie. It's kind of like getting there, number one. So there's like abandoned trailers alongside the road. Like there's people living in the trailers because, you know, like you said, it's just trailers and things like that. But then there's a couple of abandoned trailers and it's a dirt road that you're going on. And then it's just like all these cars just sticking out of the ground. And there's some on top of the mountain and it's like, I don't know, it just gives you like a weird.
They put them there like that for art, right?
It's supposed to be art, yeah, but it's just weird because I feel like this is just my opinion. I feel like some things, like as far as like supernatural stuff, I feel like it's not necessarily the what's there now, it's what was there.
Yeah.
So it's the just the land itself, like
Yeah.
that, because it's it's just a patch of, I mean, I know that place isn't thriving, but like you just said, that used to be like the most booming town in the state of Nevada.
Yeah.
And it's just a random patch of land that has nothing. There's nothing there, you know, except these cars.
The land was always there. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But even on that road all the way to Reno, there's so many different things. Like there's that, it's not even really a rest stop, but there's that, it's on the left-hand side of the road. I feel like it's near Tonopah, where it's the, it's like a building, but it's just all graffitied up. And you wouldn't want to stop there. Like if you see it, like it doesn't look like somewhere that you want to be. But plenty of people have obviously been there before. Because they like graffitied it all up and stuff. There's just so many random things along the whole highway
Yeah.
that
And this is,
When I used to go, I don't know, I used to go, went to Arizona or coming out here. I used to see a cross like in the mountains.
that means like somebody probably died there, got hit by a car. Or like these homeless people, like, you know, when you go to Arizona and you see those homeless people, they're just walking on the street. Those people walk all the way from one state to another state.
Yeah, but I be seeing it way in the mountains.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they're walking from one state to another state, I mean, you need food, you need water to sustain yourself. They got snakes and what does Nevada have? What's those lizards called?
They have like
The Gila monsters, and those things are poisonous. They'll kill you dead.
kill you dead.
I don't know who used to say that, but no, yeah, the Gila monster thing. So I mean, anything could happen. And those homeless people, that's one thing that they do. Like if they respect each other and they warn other. That's why you see those rocks when there's like rocks on top of rocks. That means something to them.
Yeah, what does that mean? Because we were actually just talking about that this last weekend. Those rocks on top of rocks.
I don't know what they mean, but I know you see them a lot. See it a lot. Even in the city, you see it. Like by my job, they do it with those rocks.
Huh.
That's all that is. And then they have plane crashes and stuff.
So remember you saw that homeless guy sleeping on the side of the road? He was going to California. Remember you said there's a homeless guy? Dan was coming home with a homeless guy who about to help out the freeway.
Oh yeah. He wasn't. He was jumping. There was a dirt patch there, but he was like, it was like we're at the spaghetti bowl where Sahara starts. That new thing over there. Yeah. But what was I gonna say? Lost my train of thought. Is there a place that you know is for surely haunted that you would ever want to travel to?
That I want to travel to?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't particularly like to seek out hauntings, so I can't think of one that I want to travel to. That.
There's a place that I'm sure is haunted, but I wouldn't want to go for that. I just want to go to learn stuff. But I was watching a thing on TV about it the other day, the tombs that they have in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Like those with the pharaohs and all this.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be interesting and scary at the same time.
That's true. I also want to see, I do want to see the Windsor Castle.
Okay.
I would like to see that place. I know your mom went to the Windsor Castle.
Well, she probably didn't know it was haunted, and then now that she knows, and after she listens to this, she's gonna say her spirit didn't sit right. It didn't sit right in her spirit.
She hasn't been right ever since.
She hasn't been right ever since.
I was there. I didn't know it was haunted.
I just want to see it because it's so interesting, like the belief that they had to just keep building, and so the whole house is like a maze. Like I want to see that.
Oh wait, I was thinking of something different. So that one she did know was haunted, and she did say that her spirit didn't sit right because she bought that DVD.
Yeah, and then she made us watch it.
And then we watched it. Yeah.
Oh, that's not Windsor. That's that.
That's when.
That lady.
That's the gun manufacturer.
That's Windsor.
Is it?
It's not.
Windsor.
I don't know.
Anyway, we know what it is.
I know what you're talking about, yeah. And I'm pretty sure if somebody's interested, they could Google. But yeah, that's in California. So I'm like you, though. I want to actively seek out a haunted place.
Although you went to that museum.
Well, that wasn't my suggestion. That was my friend's suggestion. I just went along with her. But I would, for the same like Robert, for just educational purposes. And I mean, it would be a little bit of seeking out if it was haunted and kind of educational purposes. But I would want to travel like the catacombs in France.
Oh, yeah.
I would go down there.
It's the Winchester house.
Oh, the Winchester house. Oh yeah, Winchester rifles. So, yeah, I would go there if too. But and then where else would I go? Well, maybe I do have a sense of adventure for this because I actually do want to go to like, I think it's China or Japan or wherever, but they have like the suicide garden.
Oh, that's
Japan.
Japan.
Oh my gosh.
I would go there. I don't know
You
why.
want to go just to
because it's supposed to be like so haunted and so excuse me, so haunted and so scary that you just like, you know, I don't want to off myself. I just want to, you know, see, yeah. Plus, I don't know, who doesn't want to go to Japan? So, but that's just, you know, just me personally. I mean, there is a lot. I wouldn't. And you know what's so funny too is that I'm not even like I don't like any of that. Like my first thing that I say when it comes to like doing something scary is like, oh, I got a bad heart. I can't do it. You know, that's like with roller coasters and anything. I'd be like, oh, well, I got a bad heart. That counts me out. I can't do this. But I feel like I put myself in the situation a lot to like actually go and do scary stuff. So.
I think a lot of the experiences haven't been on purpose, trying to put yourself in the situation.
Yeah.
Like we were saying earlier in the conversation, in our state in general, there's much
just a lot,
like
yeah.
history there and so much crazy stuff that happened in our state that like that residual energy is just still there.
That's true.
And it's everywhere, even where we grew up, we just don't know about it that much. But up there in Reno, it's the same. There's a lot of residual energy up there with all of that, with the mob and everything.
That's true.
You hear that?
Oh my God.
That's the wind.
Oh,
the wind
okay.
outside. But I so like me, I'm not a spiritual person or a religious person or anything like that, but I do like I sage. We talked about that already, and I do carry like sometimes I have crystals and things like that. But I'm the type of person who I feel like you should, that whatever it is in the universe that's calling you will seek you out. So I feel like that's how we end up in like what are the chances of us driving past Goldfield Hotel on that particular day, stopping? I think we just stopped to like take pictures, right? That was like the initial thing of stopping.
We saw those trucks there.
Oh, and then the lady gets out and's like, "Hey, do you guys want a tour?" Yeah. Like that, like we were supposed to, you know. So I just feel like,
and we've driven past that hotel so many times.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anyone there except for that one time.
Exactly. So I that's how I just feel. That the things just kind of, they're like, it's all there. Like there's things everywhere, but you have to be ready to experience them. And if you're not ready to experience it, then you won't see it and it won't happen to you. But once you're ready to see it and experience it, then that's when it.
So with that being said though, like, how can you justify something crazy happening or something bad happening to somebody? Like, nobody's going to be ready for that.
No. But have you ever heard, like, the expression, like, you've already lived your worst day? I don't know if that...
Because you're still alive.
Yeah. So the worst thing that's ever happened to you has already happened to you, and you were to overcome it. So if something bad happens to you and you don't make it through, then it was supposed to happen to you and you were supposed to not make it through. Whatever it was. That's just how I feel. That's just my personal opinion. It could be wrong, could be correct. I don't know. I'm not God.
I mean, I guess that mindset can get you through a lot, because you're like, okay, well, I've already made it through my worst days, so I can make it through this too.
And that's why I'm pretty mellow about a lot of things. Like, I just feel like, okay, it's supposed to happen to me. Then that's, like, look at this situation. I knew him for like 4 months, and then I married him. So 7 months, whatever. It wasn't a long time. So I just feel like everything that comes into your life and comes into your realm is supposed to come into your life, come into your at that specific time.
I agree.
Because you're ready for it. Because you, like, if you think about like the situations you've experienced, it's like, oh, well, this situation is similar to that situation, and on that situation I did this, and this, but this isn't working this time. So let me add this to it, and then that works. And then the next situation you have is similar to that last situation. So you're like, okay, let me do this, 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 and this, and that doesn't work. And then you go, you know.
They say that like if you're supposed to learn a lesson, the situation will continue to happen to you until you get the right answer. So that's why those situations repeat themselves.
So I feel like it's the same in like the spirit world or whatever. If you are supposed to be at a place and that spirit knows you're supposed to be there, that's when it tries to get your attention. Just not to necessarily hurt you. I don't feel like spirits are, I mean, some are. I'm sure like there's bad people in Earth, there's bad people. Those same bad people die and cross over or whatever. Or
I kind of feel like the bad ones though, like when they get attached to people and stuff, I kind of feel like it's because the people are asking for it.
Yeah.
Like you said the story of that girl. The lady clearly told all of you what you needed to do when you went in the room.
Yeah.
And she chose not to do it.
Exactly.
Like, why, if someone tells you, even if you feel silly doing it, like if someone tells you, hey, when you go in this room, you have to greet this doll and you have to say goodbye to the doll when you leave, why wouldn't you do it?
Right.
So like, I mean, I'm not saying anyone deserves something crazy happening to them, but she obviously is like playing with fire because she didn't do it.
Exactly.
And I feel like the same thing goes for like some of those people that seek out like trying to prove paranormal activity, and they seek out like angering them.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of like calling it to you. So
Exactly.
like, why are you doing that?
Like taunting it in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so even though the spirits are always around us, good and bad and whatever else, like if you're not really like messing with it, I don't feel like it will mess with you.
I don't think that's fair though.
You don't think so?
What that we have to be here, and we see everything that we see, and then they can see us, but we can't see them.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
that
like
part. I don't like that either.
Well, I mean, but there's people who do see them. Like, there's clairvoyance. Like, I feel like that's a real... Like, there's some people who are trying to get over on you. But I feel like there are some people, especially kids...
Yeah, I think kids can see stuff.
Like, I feel like at a certain age, you do lose it. But when you're born, you have that ability to see...
I think animals can see stuff, too.
And animals, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You did it upside down?
No.
Oh.
He got messed up on the bottom.
I used one. It doesn't matter though.
But...
This was supposed to go in here, but it's fine. Alright, sorry.
It's okay. Robert's building a shoe rack at the same time that we're recording this, so please don't mind our laughter just now. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I feel like kids can see stuff, animals can see stuff, and then some adults don't lose that sense, like because it appeals to them when they're a child. They are always seeking it out. And so now they're just a little bit sensitive to it. So I feel like, you know, there's something in you yourself went a different way and you didn't want to, maybe you had a bad experience or something and you don't want to actively seek it out. But for the majority of the thing, most people are like those clairvoyant people, they actively seek it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. There's like, I don't know, there's so much though.
Yeah.
That like, some of it, it seems like a lot to get into. There's so much.
That's true. Well,
When I
yes.
was younger, my body got stuck.
What were you doing?
Laying in bed.
Yeah, that's sleep paralysis. So the theory of sleep paralysis is that there is I don't know if you would call it a demon or just like a spirit or something. I don't know. But anyways, basically something supernatural like sits on you. And you don't have the ability to move.
was
So-
just blinking. So.
Hmm?
I was just blinking and tried to.
Yeah, but you couldn't move like your body. You
Yeah.
could, so that's sleep paralysis. That's the thing with sleep paralysis is that.
That's what happened to me.
I've never experienced. I mean, I have vivid dreams sometimes, but as far as anything else goes, no. But like I was saying, because we've been going for a minute, it is Women's History Month, so I actually am glad that you guys brought up the Winchester house, because I feel like that she'll be our first little spotlighted woman is the Winchester widow.
But she, how many years did she live? Like after her husband died?
I don't even know. Like I haven't even researched it or anything, but she carried on. So after her, so a brief story of the Winchester for people who don't know is he made the Winchester gun. And his wife she considered herself clairvoyant, even though she tried to hide it. So she felt like she could see the spirit of all the people who were ever killed by her gun. And so she would build, there's a house, where is it at? It's in
California.
Central California, right?
Yeah.
So there's the Winchester Manor that has never been finished because she felt like it would never be finished. And she just kept building rooms.
This to keep the spirits away, she would have to keep building.
Yeah.
So as soon as if they were to stop building on it, then she would see stuff. So she kept building the whole time.
So the whole time she lived in the house, she would just build rooms to keep the spirits in, of the people who were murdered by the gun that her husband did. So she is our first spotlighted. Let me see if I can Google it real quick, what her name was. So it's in San Jose, California. So I'll read you. Oh, I guess it's closed because of COVID. It's called the Winchester Mystery House. Oh, so the wife. So I guess she started because her daughter died?
Oh, yes, that's right. One of her kids died when she was young, huh?
Yeah, so I guess she felt like it was the spirits, and that's why she started doing it. So this is from their website. So it's 2,400 square feet. It has 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 160 rooms, 52 skylights, 47 stairways and fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens, and is valued over $71 million today.
A lot of kitchens.
That is a lot of that is a lot of kitchens. So whenever I think they're actually, if you go to their website, you can get a virtual tour for free. So I think that's going on. So Google it, check it out. Before we end this, does anybody else have anything they want to add?
Also, remember, weren't you going to talk about your sage?
Oh, and if this did anything to you and you don't feel right and your spirit doesn't feel right, just if you go to www.etsy.com/shop/QueenShe I do sell sage. I sell 3 different types of sage, just regular sage to get the spirits away. I sell a lavender sage that just helps with, I believe, your and stress and anxiety and things like that. And I also sell a what is this last one that I sell? Sorry, there's other things going on. I'm getting distracted. And I sell a rose sage that helps with your health. So if you had coronavirus or anything like that, or you're sick or whatever, then that helps with that.
You guys talking about like clairvoyance and people being in touch, and then I just pulled this random note. I didn't even know it was there. I just pulled it out.
Let's see what it says. Robert, think about yourself and your life. Good luck.
Kind of crazy.
So, on that note, we are definitely out. I'll put a link to everybody who participated in this social media page if they want me to, so you can ask them more questions. And I also put the link to my Etsy shop so you can go and buy your sage. All right, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.